once they arrive in the lobby to come see the movie, we rescreen them with the same questionnaire. Believe it or not, as much as 50% can answer slightly differently when they're when they have a piece of paper and a pencil instead of visualizing it in their head over the phone, and they could be rejected. It's a very sensitive tool. Happily, we did our job well. We got 80%. So only 20% was sent home once they showed up. Then we screen the movie for them, and then we have a conversation with them. Now, another reason why we're doing something that's different than Hollywood is that in Hollywood focus groups, they ask a lot of questions, but they all boil down to two, and that's all they care about. And that is, how do you rate this film? Excellent, very good, good, fair, or poor, and would you recommend it to a friend? We don't ask that question until the very end of our focus groups, because what we're really looking to do is to figure out what it is that people like about the movie, these advocates and explorers, so that we can tailor our messaging specifically for them. So we know how to get at them, and we also want to tailor the message to activate them to come see the movie and then spread the word of mouth. And then we want to fuel the fire of that to keep it going so it can grow. So it's a much more cost-efficient way of getting audiences instead of trying, again, to sort of hit everybody. And when you don't have the money to do that, that's ineffective. So on this movie, we asked questions like, this movie is about blank. This movie made me feel blank. Again, trying to find that thing, that key insight that really gets people and we can tailor our messaging to. And on this movie, it could have been a lot of things, right? It could have been the danger aspect of what Cameron did going 7 miles down and 16,000 PSI, or it could have been the building of the sub, or it could have been that he loved doing this since he was a child, wanted to do this since he was a child. And what it turned out overwhelmingly to be about was that after they saw the movie, they felt like they were inspired to aspire. They wanted to get up off the chair and go do something. And it wasn't climb Mount Everest. It was things like, oh, I always wanted to go to China, and I'm going to book my flight today. So the inspire to aspire thing led us to how we are now building our marketing materials around that key insight. So I'm going to give you one example of one of the things we're going to be doing in the social media digital space for this movie. So the inspire to aspire comes from the danger, right? The fact is that what he did was so dangerous and he accomplished it, and that makes people feel inspired when they see the movie. So one of the things we're going to do around our danger campaign is something through Facebook. So Facebook now has something new called the Facebook API. And it's a little more complicated than I'm going to tell you, but you'll get the sense of what I'm talking about. So say there's a banner ad on Yahoo homepage, and it says something to the effect of, how much risk are you willing to take? Take the test. Take the challenge. And you'll click on that, and it will bring you to Facebook, and then it will ask you to go to your Facebook page, and then a screen will come up on your Facebook page, and it will say, we would like, for this experience, and only this experience, we would like to use your photographs from your Facebook timeline. You click OK, the screen starts, and it's a video of you in a submarine going down. You see it break through the ocean, top of the ocean. You go a little bit farther and you see sharks and you see fish. You go a little bit farther, you see creepy crawlies. You go a little bit farther, you hear a pop. You go a little bit farther and there's an explosion. You've imploded. And all of a sudden, the screen goes black and your pictures start flying at you. You're seeing your life flash before you. Isn't that great? I just love that. Yeah. And then it dissolves to one of two things. Either you survived and you get congratulated, Or it says R.I.P. James Burke 7/2/14, and then it dissolves to please share this with your friends, and dissolves to James Cameron's Deep Sea Challenge 3D opens August 8th. So the whole point of that, there is no guarantees about something going viral, but we really believe that this checks off a lot of boxes to give it a really good chance that people are going to want to share this stuff. And it's an example of how we want to kind of interact with people. It isn't about pushing out advertising on the movie, although that will happen sort of close to the release because we have to say in theaters August 8th. But early on, starting say in, I think it's a month from now, we'll start doing these kinds of things, so we start having a conversation with these advocates and explorers. So we get them energized to come see the movie, and then to be able to evangelize on behalf of the movie and get more people to come. The other thing that we're doing that no one else, as far as we know, is doing it is media buying optimization, so programmatic media buying. So we are going to take those things that we're going to do, and we're going to be able to, in the digital space, move things around depending on where more advocates and explorers show up. We're going to be able to, in real time, move media to the place where more people are clicking through, for instance. So we're going to be able to optimize where our media is in the places that it's working best for us. And finally, the other thing that we're doing differently is in terms of our an investment difference. So what we're doing is what's called P&A, Princeton Advertising. That's the marketing term for marketing in film. And we have a pool of investors that we're putting together. And the reason this investment is better than investing in an actual movie is because that money comes out first in the waterfall. So if you were to invest in a movie, you'd be behind the marketing dollars, the P&A dollars, before you started seeing anything. In the case of this, day one, once the movie's in the theaters, you're going to start seeing money back if you were to be an investor in this P&A fund. So that is my little speech, and I appreciate you listening, and I'd be happy to take any questions. So what you're saying is, are we going to be taking what we're doing throughout the process, like in terms of the kinds of movies that we select? And that's a great question, and it's absolutely right. And frankly, as we go on, we'll get better at that, right? Because we'll know what's working and what's not working. We're also going to have a database of all these advocates and explorers. The more we do, the more movies we do, right? Because we're going to put pixels on them, we're going to have email addresses, we're going to build that database so that when we do the selecting of the movie, we'll base it on what you're saying, which is we want those advocates and explorers. This is a movie. We love this movie, but it doesn't fit for our advocate and explorer, so we're not going to pick that movie up. So yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So the question is have I gotten caught up in the movie marketing and lost some of my artistic purity along the way? Is that? So, let me see if I can summarize this. Why are you a sellout? No, I actually really appreciate the question. Seriously, I really do, because for years, part of the problem was that I was making these movies that I felt were really great, and again, they would win awards, and they would, be in all the top film festivals, and they'd get theatrical releases, and then they were kind of modestly successful. And part of that was because they weren't as commercial as some of the other. So the answer to your question is yes and no. I hope that I'll be making quality films and marketing them, but I may sell out to make some money as well. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Thank you, James. So let's all be explorers or adventurers and explorers and help spread the word. Advocates, excuse me. Advocates, not advocates. Advocates and explorers.